Microsoft is forced to reveal the new Xbox. Is the Elder Scrolls 6 gonna be multiplat after all? Check out these new Game Pass perks. These 6 companies are Team Xbox. Let's discuss. What's up guys, and welcome to Xbox Ready, the YouTube channel that is constantly working to bring you the latest Xbox news. If you want to stay Xbox ready, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. I also do a lot of Xbox related stuff, unboxings, reviews, tips and tricks, you name it. First up, let's talk about Game Pass, baby. Like I always say, it is not an Xbox ready video unless I talk about Game Pass in some way or the Activision Blizzard acquisition. We're having a pretty strong month on Game Pass when it comes to new titles being added, at least in my opinion. I've been playing Guilty Gear Strive, and guys, I gotta be honest, I've been out of the fighting game genre for a while now. I am pretty overwhelmed, but I am slowly and surely getting better and better at that game. I've been playing as Ramlethal and Giovanna, but outside of the games, we have some new perks to talk about if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber. This list includes new items and skins for the following games: Apex Legends, the Prowler's Fortune Weapon Charm, Asphalt 9 Legends Sports Car Bundle, F1 2022 Champions Content Bundle, Halo Infinite The Corrupted Assault Rifle Bundle, Kartrider Drift Lucci Loot Pack, Naraka Blade Point Season 7 Untamed Bundle, Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis, and on The Sims 4 you get a new Sleepover Sleepwear set. Now all that stuff I just mentioned is pretty par for the course when it comes to your Game Pass Ultimate perks, but in addition to that, this month you also get a free movie. That is right, if you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, you can claim a free digital copy of The Evil Dead 2. And damn it, I wish Jimmy was here to do the two-host video with me because he is a huge fan of the Evil Dead series. I've personally not seen it myself, but Jimmy has described it to me in great detail. And from my understanding, this is like a horror classic. It's great, it's unhinged, and best of all, it is free, like I said. However, this is only available in the US right now, so for my international audience, I'm sorry guys. If you're new to Game Pass Ultimate, chances are you might be sitting on some free stuff that you don't even know about. And there are deadlines approaching for some of these things for both claiming and redeeming them. For example, if you have not done so yet, you have until April 1st to claim 3 months of Apple TV Plus. Ted Lasso just came back, it's the perfect timing. That also goes for a 3-month trial of Apple Music. If you claim both of those things, that would pretty much pay for your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate membership for the next 3 months. And again, if you haven't done so already, you have until April 27th to claim your free 3 months of Discord Nitro. So yeah, free stuff, always good. Things that boost the value of Game Pass Ultimate, always good. I know when we're talking about Game Pass, we're focusing in on the games because it's in the name, Game Pass, that is the focus, but don't sleep on some of these perks. All right guys, let's circle back to this Activision Blizzard acquisition. Since they announced the deal, it seems like the pendulum has been swinging back and forth on, oh, this deal is not gonna get approved. Oh no, it is gonna get approved because of this and this. Oh no, it's not gonna get approved now. Xbox is facing an uphill battle. I don't know if it's gonna get approved. And in between all that stuff, there's been a lot of juicy information that's come out because these people reviewing it, the CMA in the UK, the FTC in the US, the European Union, sometimes they'll release these documents, these juicy little bits of information. And that seems to be a weekly occurrence at this point. Most recently, companies were able to submit responses to the CMA's provisional findings on this Activision Blizzard deal. And it turns out that 6 companies at least are pro Microsoft acquiring Activision Blizzard. If you want to read the documents for yourself, they're out there, but I do warn you, they're pretty long. The actual documents themselves can be pretty boring, but luckily Pure Xbox has gotten some of the highlights for us. Most of these people choose to remain anonymous, except this first one that they highlight right here, 4J Studios. They say, we do not see the proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard as anything other than a natural evolution of the industry, and it does not give us any concern for our own future opportunities. Now, who is 4J Studios? Well, according to their website, they're a Scottish-based studio responsible for publishing 16 titles, 17 mashup games, and 7 mini-games. But according to the internet, they are most famous for creating the console version of Minecraft. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna cry foul at that because they're like, oh, they're tied to a quote-unquote Xbox first-party studio, but I think it honestly gives them a unique perspective on the whole thing. They've seen firsthand how Microsoft handles a title that they've acquired that has previously been multi-plat, and even post-acquisition of Mojang, they've continued to support Minecraft on all platforms, Switch, PlayStation, and of course Xbox. Participant C has a pretty interesting statement. They say, in my experience dealing with them over the last 25 years, Microsoft always honors their contracts and obligations. When they say that they intend to make Call of Duty content available on Sony and Nintendo platforms, I believe them, and I believe it is in their interest as well as the interest of the industry. Participant E says, the acquisition will not all of a sudden make Xbox the dominant platform. It's far more likely that it may help to create a more level playing field between Xbox and PlayStation, which at this time is sorely needed. PlayStation needs better competition to force the platform to up its game, and this will surely help do that. I don't know how far these statements will go in changing the CMA's mind. In 2022, they notoriously opened up feedback to the general public, like the citizens of the UK, and people were free to email them their opinions on the acquisition. The last time I checked, there seemed to be a good number of people that were pro this deal, and they're still like, nah, we don't like it. But between these statements and Microsoft working with all sorts of platforms to give them 10-year access deals for Call of Duty and Activision Blizzard titles, it seems that Microsoft's support, at least in the industry, is growing. We're hearing more and more about Microsoft reaching some sort of common ground with these companies versus not. That is, with everyone except for PlayStation. Staying on that same wavelength, leaked document, deep secrets being revealed by both PlayStation and Xbox, wild accusations, intrigue, drama. Sounded like Game of Thrones up in here. Game of Thrones when it was good, not like the last couple seasons. Microsoft may be forced to reveal the future of some key parts of their business, namely the next Xbox and the future of Bethesda. Based on a new discovery by Axios, the FTC is apparently requesting information on what Microsoft is planning to do when it comes to ZeniMax titles and their exclusivity. And guys, this opens up a whole new can of worms, at least in my opinion, because as we know, the plan was to make all future Bethesda titles exclusive to Xbox. A lot of people come out and say, oh, well, Phil Spencer said that they promised that they would bring like the next Elder Scrolls to PlayStation, and now they're turning back on that. And that's not exactly what happened. First of all, the EU has already come out and said that they did not require any concessions as part of their approval of the Bethesda acquisition. Second of all, if you actually pay attention to what was said, they said they would honor the contracts that were currently going on, and that those projects were going to come out on PlayStation, but all future stuff was going to be on a case-by-case basis. So yeah, you still have Deathloop on PlayStation consoles, and you have it on PS Plus. Ghostwire Tokyo, they honored that as well. They have all past iterations of the Elder Scrolls. They have Elder Scrolls Online, still multi-plat, Fallout 76, all of that stuff is still multi-platform. But now Xbox is in a situation where they have to reveal their future plans for Bethesda titles, and I'm a little worried that the FTC is going to look at Xbox's plans and be like, wait a minute, you're gonna make the Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive to Xbox? You can't have Activision Blizzard. Which I think is a little ridiculous, guys. I don't know, like, that just, we haven't seen that up until this point. No one was like, oh yeah, you want to buy Bungie PlayStation? Reveal the future of Insomniac Games. I know that's a little different because obviously Bethesda has been multi-platform for a number of years now. Not too long, but a number of years, at least the past 2 generations. We know at this point that Sony was pursuing a timed exclusivity deal on Starfield. And now that Starfield is going to be exclusive, everyone is like, what the heck, man? And Sony has even admitted that the time period that games sell the most is in the first couple of weeks after release, and they were planning on taking that away from Xbox. I don't know, I know I'm seeming a little console war-y right now, but at the end of the day, this could throw a wrench into Xbox's plans. On the other end, I'm not entirely sure if the two things are related. So far up to this point, it's been like Call of Duty, Call of Duty, Call of Duty. Is Xbox gonna make it exclusive? Are they gonna take it away from other platforms? And then Xbox has come out and been like, no, we're gonna put it on more platforms. And they're like, okay, what about your other acquisition that you just made? I don't know if this is gonna eventually force them to make Elder Scrolls and other Bethesda titles multi-platform as well. I think that would be unnecessary, especially considering that Xbox supports a lot of its first-party titles on PlayStation. And we don't necessarily get that love back. Off the top of my head, I can think of one first-party title, maybe 2, MLB The Show, and then I don't even know what else. The FTC is also requesting information about Microsoft's plans for the next Xbox ecosystem. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, the next Xbox, the next box. That's pretty good, right? Next box. I don't know if they're going to continue with Xbox Series C, Xbox Series Q, whatever. Next box? I don't know, guys. I think I might be onto something. In these documents, the FTC requests documents related to blank, it's redacted, the code name for Microsoft's next generation gaming ecosystem. Blank is part of Microsoft's forward-looking strategy for its console, subscription, and cloud gaming services, all markets. And that's the frustrating thing about reading through a lot of these documents related to this acquisition. I read through all hundreds and hundreds of pages of the provisional findings that the CMA put out, and all the juicy information. It's like Xbox sold redacted, and it's like literally says redacted. So it's like, ooh, we're so close to finding out the code name for this next generation of Xboxes, but yet still so far away. The only thing that I can really tell from this is that the code name seems to be pretty long. Like, that's a pretty long black bar, pretty long redacted thing. For this generation, the working code name for both consoles, the Series consoles, was Project Scarlet. The Xbox Series X was codenamed Anaconda, and the Xbox Series S was codenamed Lockhart. And for those who want to know the code name for The Mandalorian Season 2, it was Huckleberry. So why is the FTC requesting information on the next-gen Xboxes? Well, they want to find something in Xbox's future plans that will essentially prove that if they let this deal go through, it will be detrimental to the gaming industry. Apparently, Microsoft has already handed over some documents, but the FTC is still not satisfied. They want more. And guys, if I'm being honest, that does not sound good. On the other end, you could look at it as like, okay, the FTC is reaching here. They don't really have anything to back up their arguments in court right now, so they gotta dig even further. We already saw this happen on the flip side for PlayStation. They submitted documents regarding the PlayStation 6, and it's really got me thinking, man, what is the next box going to be? And I think the burning question for me is Microsoft going to continue with this two-pronged attack when it comes to consoles? They kicked it off with the Xbox One X and the One S, and then continued that trend with the Series X and the Series S. I'm wondering, as their overall gaming ecosystem continues to grow, if two consoles are really necessary. With the rise of cloud gaming, with the rise of Xbox games on PC and PC Game Pass, do you really need two consoles going forward? Don't get me wrong, I think the Series S has been a very large part on why Xbox has been so successful this generation. It carried them through the console shortage time, and it's proven to overall be a hit, honestly. People like that cheaper option. So with the success of that, I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they will continue with two consoles, but my personal preference would be if they just had one console, go back to the one kind of console, maybe make the same version of that, make it digital. But honestly, I'm just kind of tired of this back and forth of like, this console, the Series S, is underpowered, it doesn't perform well for these games, it's holding gaming back, blah, 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 blah. I think it'd just be much easier to leave all that behind, make the next box, and that is it. A digital version of that, maybe. As far as the timeline is concerned, I am not entirely sure. I don't know if they're gonna prolong this generation because it got off to like a slower start. Usually I say a console generation is like, what, 8 years, 7 years? I'm very curious as to see if they would delay that to like 10 years. So that, of course, would throw off the timeline of like the mid-gen refresh and the next consoles. But if they didn't, then we should be expecting these new consoles, the next box and the PS6, sometime 2028, 2029, and then a mid-gen refresh sometime soon. I talked about it a little bit in the last video. It's still kind of a question mark for me what they're gonna do on the Xbox side, but we're 3 years into this generation. Typically, mid-gen refreshes show up at the halfway point, so like the 4-5 year mark. Should be just around the corner, guys. So yeah, I'm not sure what exactly is gonna come of this with the FTC requesting these documents, but when they do get these documents, and of course when they eventually leak, expect information on like code names, the price of the console, the time frame of their release. Keep your eyes peeled. I definitely will be.